there is just 29 days before the British people go to the polls on June 23rd to decide which path their country takes. Whether they decide to remain a member of the European Union or whether they choose to become an independent, self-governing, sovereign nation in the global market. Now, as the weeks and the days roll in, propaganda from both sides of the campaign intensifies greatly. There was firstly the scandalous £9.3 million of taxpayers' money spent on a one-sided, biased argument from the UK government. Now, I have 2 copies of this booklet. I have one to send straight back to Downing Street to show my outright disapproval at the way this Conservative government is conducting the referendum, and I have another to take out onto the streets to discuss with members of the public. Now, this booklet is filled with half-truths, lies, and outright assumptions. I'm not saying that the Vote Leave campaign aren't guilty of some of those sins as well. Of course they are. However, the basic argument of the UK government and the Remain campaign goes as follows. Don't vote to leave on June 23rd because we don't believe that we can do it. We don't believe in Britain, and you shouldn't believe in Britain either. That's the basic argument, and it's somewhat gloomy and vacuous. We are told that to be economically advantageous, we need to be in the European Union. Why is it then that 15 of the G20 economies are not in the European Union, yet they are the largest economies on earth, flourishing and prospering like never before? It is an indisputable fact that every continent on earth has grown over the last decade except Antarctica and Europe. And at the same time, our dependency on the European market is dwindling. In 2006, the European Union took 55% of British combined goods and services. In 2014, that figure had fallen to 44%, while at the same time, our dependency on the global market grew at an unprecedented rate. But, as a member of the European Union, we cannot sign independent trade deals with the rest of the world. But it's not just the economic price. It's the democratic price. As Daniel Hannan quite rightly stated on the Spectator debate a couple of weeks ago, we fought a civil war in this country to establish the principle that laws should not be passed nor taxes set except by our own elected representatives. And in the EU treaties itself states clear as day, and I quote, that declaration of the 17 consolidated EU treaties and the law adopted by the Union on the basis of the treaties have primacy over the law of member states. It couldn't be clearer. The UK Parliament is subservient to the European Parliament. The UK Supreme Court and our judicial system is dominated by that of the European Union. This is not what our ancestors fought for. They fought world wars. We had the suffragettes and the suffragists who fought for women's right to have parliamentary votes, and for that vote to be accountable, and for that vote to be able to hire and fire who governs them. But being part of the European Union, those efforts are directly undermined. The only way to get back control of our democracy, the only way to get back control of our ability to trade with the rest of the world, is to vote to leave on June 23rd. But if you don't have confidence in that vote, here's why you should. Britain is the 5th largest economy on the planet. We are one of 5 permanent seat holders on the United Nations Security Council. We are the 4th military power on the planet. Our language is the most common spoken by the human species, giving us unparalleled links with the Commonwealth, the United States and the rest of the world. We are part of the G8 industrialised nations. We're one of the G20 largest economies. How much bigger do we have to be before we are able to thrive like any other normal country on earth? If you believe in Britain, and if you believe that you have the right to hire and fire who governs your country, vote to leave on June 23rd and get real change.